So, hello everyone. This is Manisha Bhatti, once again the CEO and co-founder of a training institute named Dream Hunt India. As we all know, that Dream Hunt India has come up with this initiative of real people, real struggle. It's been 14 months, more than 14 months, that every individual is going through some or the other phase, some or the other situation or condition out there. And as we have promised you, that there are going to be 8 super inspirational stories which we will bring in front of you to generate hope, strength, and inspiration amongst us all. So let me welcome you today, one of the best of the models out there that Maharashtra has. She herself is a confident lady, but as I told you, like us all, everybody was going through some or the other thing. This beautiful lady is going to share her experience with us of COVID. So let me welcome each one of you. First of all, thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule and giving us time to Dream Hunt India team, and also to Dr. Gayatri Tiwari, who is a social activist, who is a popular queen of universe. She is a groomer by profession as well, a business etiquette trainer and a print model. So let me welcome each one of you with Gayatri Tiwari today. Thank you so much, Gayatri, first of all, for coming onto our platform. From your busy schedule, we can understand back to back there are so many events virtually as well you're attending. And you yourself, you're an inspiration to me too, because I've seen your post every time. I've seen you hustling during these COVID days as well, Gayatri. So welcome you onto our platform, Gayatri. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Manisha, and lovely to be part of your Dream Hunt India. And it's a pleasure and an honor to be part of your this lovely experience, which you are giving me an opportunity to share with such lovely audiences. Yes, we all have been facing a lot of things, somebody more than somebody less. During these COVID times, yes, I would like to go ahead and share my experience with you, Manisha.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much, Gayatri. So, coming to our very first question. Very first question is, how was your personal and professional life going on before COVID-19 hit India? That is, before March 2020. How was your daily routine? Like, what was happening exactly in your life?
Yeah, just before we actually came to know that COVID is like globally it was happening. It had not reached our country, and before that, a lot of events were lined up. A lot of grooming classes were lined up. A lot of on-ground practical visits to orphanages were lined up. And then the last show I did was with Mukta Godse in Nagpur as a celebrity guest over there, and with the Aradhya Beauty Institute. And like I came back from that, and already I saw the difference in at the airports. Like people, like very less people were around. A lot of people were getting scared. A lot of people already wearing masks, and I had not yet got into that zone yet. So it was something like we knew about it, but we had not yet accepted it because we were not yet affected by it. So when I landed back in India, I had like one after the other events lined up. Like, and I was actually heading towards a burnout because, like, uh, being from the glamour field, also being a social activist, also a lot of things are obviously intertwined, between these two fields for me at least. So it was like physically, yes, I was in one place. Mentally, I was already preparing for another place. And then suddenly this lockdown happened in the middle of the night. Like around evening time, we were announced, like we were always told that, by 12 o'clock, this thing is going to shut down. And I was visiting my mom after this show, who was already ailing for some time after a brain stroke. Like she had been recovering and then going down the hill. But we were like had a lot of hopes. She was with my brother and a lot of medical staff, and everything was like chalked out basically. Things were in place, doctors were in place, and suddenly it just so happened that, this lockdown announcement comes, and we are like everybody. who I know, including my husband. They're like, better get back home. And when I went outside, it was like a mad scene out there. You know, people were running around, the police guys were with sticks, they were like bullying people. I am using the word bullying over here because, yes, it was a first lockdown. People were not aware how to react. Neither the administration was ready for the act. So they were just throwing tantrums and like, get out and move away. Khade nahi hona. So it was like a lot of mayhem, lot of tension, lot of stress. You didn't know if you were coming or you were going. Now, when you say sudden lockdown, you know, so first thing hits, oh my God, I need to have rations. If the lockdown is happening, the first thing a common man thinks is that I have to store up for how long it is going to go. So I was no different than anybody else, Manisha. And that was a time like mom was like in between her illness and stability. And she was like talking and expressing. And she was like very concerned. She said, you leave immediately for your house and things like that. So that was part of it. So I had a lot of things lined up. And then suddenly this thing comes, everything stopped. It was like everything full stop. What happens now?
So when very beautifully you explained your daily routine as well, Gayatri, and all of a sudden this police thing was happening, and we could see the roads जहाँ पे इतनी गाड़ियां आना जाना करती थी, all of a sudden ब्लॉक आ गया. जहाँ पे हम घर चलाने की बात कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पे आपके प्रोफेशनल इवेंट्स आपने कहा बैक टू बैक वगैरह थे, जब आपको पता चला कि माय गॉड ऑल योर इवेंट्स हैव कम टू अ हॉल्ट नाउ एंड यू डोंट नो कितने मंथ्स लगेंगे या कितने वीक्स या कितने साल लगने वाले एग्जैक्टली, और इज दैट इवेंट really going to happen or no? Okay, what kind of feelings? I'm sure there might be something which were like, you know, roller coaster type feelings or those negative feelings that were coming. What were those feelings, Gayatri, जिनको अपने कंट्रोल में रखा या जिनको आप कंट्रोल नहीं भी कर पाए होगे? What were those feelings, negative feelings, I can say?
If you're like, it was like, a lot of mayhem was because the organizers started postponing, then the uncertainty started coming in. The dates kept on getting postponed, and it was like in my case, a lot of payments get exchanged, advances are given. Now everybody was confused. Do we return the advances? Do we keep the advances? You asking me a frank question, so I'm giving you a very frank opinion. So it was like, what do you do? Like, do you keep the advance? Do you not take the payment? Do you return the payment? And I have been working with very nice people, I will say, though we all were facing losses. Each organizer obviously goes through a lot of efforts to put any show in place. Designers are there, models are there, makeup artists are there, venue is there, food, eatery stalls, you name it. Okay, because a lot of shows I do, they raise funds. Those funds are further diverted towards orphans. They could be the old age homes, they could be the deaf and dumb. It depends on who they are affiliated. And it was like, every time it was like, okay, few days, कुछ दिन की बात है. अच्छा चलो ये शो नहीं हुआ, फिर से होगा. But it just kept on getting postponed. It just kept on. The uncertainty which started settling was actually quite depressing, because suddenly you had a chalked out life. You knew every 2 days, 3 days, 4 days what you're going to do. And suddenly all your plans were just going out of control. And in between, I was going and visiting my mom. I was trying to, like with the QR code coming in place, you can't move around freely. Suddenly the roads were completely empty, and you were not even getting the QR codes easily. And I was, by the way, Manisha, let me tell you that I was in the last COVID time, I think I was the only lady driver on the road, other than the people in uniform or the immigrants or the people who didn't have any place to go. Because I was going from one point A to point D. Like I had to go through 3 barricades. Nakabandi everywhere. You know, somewhere they're stopping here, somewhere they're stopping there. Though I was fortunate enough that, you know, I could talk to the police guys. At times, some were rude, you know, some were not very friendly. But this is the time I want to take this opportunity to tell people, as common people, that, you know, though it just made us be aware that, you know, we all suddenly came at the same platform. No rich, no poor. This virus has taught us one of the biggest lessons of life, that it did not, you know, differentiate between the poor or the rich or the middle class or the upper class or anything like that. Suddenly it was there. It could attack anybody. It could settle down on anybody. It could not affect somebody. But here, the important part for us to understand is that we are now fighting an invisible enemy. Now, this is why, because when we are fighting our enemies who are live, like, for example, our borders, our terrorists, and we have religion-related fights and riots and things like that. So we know what we are fighting for. You know, you may be right, I may be right, I may be wrong, you may be wrong. But this particular virus has actually brought us all on the same platform, and people need to realize that we all are fighting an invisible enemy. So this blame game which started, you know, because of these people it happened, that people happened, we need to now, you know, come out of that. It is high time people came out of that. All you need to do is protect yourself, yourself, and yourself. Why should my health be the responsibility of any government? Why should be my health be the responsibility of even any family member in my house? Why can't I take the precaution? I have to take the precaution. If I don't want to fall sick, I have to take the precautions which has been laid down by the government. The government is a body selected by other bodies in a country. I mean, this is a very simple logic understanding that party could be anybody in power. So we need to come above these things. I think, you know, it's like if I'm talking to you, you are talking to me, it has to be a one-to-one thing. If we want to resolve a problem, the solution is there if you're looking for it. But if you're not looking for a solution, then there is no solution. Got it? So these were like, I went through the same kind of things. Like, you know, I also got depressed. I also got, you know, anxious because suddenly, like, children were somewhere, husband was somewhere, I was alone, mom was not well, and like it was working out fine because everybody was busy in their life. College is going on, school is going on, office is going on, and suddenly you are worrying how a family member is going to reach back, how you're going to come back home, things like that. So it has been tough, but I won't say that if you choose to look for a solution to a problem, believe me, it is there. It is there, provided you're looking for a solution.
Wow, that's very beautifully explained, Gayatri, that every individual, including you, me, every individual out there is actually fighting an invisible enemy. This is something that is so commendable in the entire initiative that we have gone through. A good advice, a good point that you have raised, that definitely we are going through facing and fighting this invisible enemy, which is equal for every individual. So thank you so much for bringing this up, and very well also explained, Gayatri, that if collectively, let's not be responsible on any other bodies, but rather take our own responsibilities. So beautifully explained to all the viewers in a very layman language that she has told, that if you really want to collectively find out that solution, we definitely have it within us. But if we are only in the blame game, there is no solution. Very simply explained by her. So thank you so much for this once again. So coming to the third part, Gayatri, looking at such a anxious situation that you said, that there were 4 barricades that you had to go through for a few weeks, for a few months as well. Looking at such a heartbreaking situation daily, also we came to know that your mother was going through a few ailments as well. What were those thoughts? Okay, what was, वो आपकी हिम्मत कहाँ से आ रही थी जिसमें आप आपके फियर को एवरी डे फेस कर रहे थे, ओवरकम कर रहे थे, ठीक है, और आप होप और स्ट्रेंथ लूज नहीं कर रहे थे गायत्री. वो जो बॉन्ड मदर और डॉटर का है, द एंटायर वर्ल्ड नोस. वी कुड ऑल्सो सी इन योर पोस्ट एज वेल कि आप कितनी मेहनत कर रहे थे, तो भी आपकी पोस्ट पे हमेशा एक ब्यूटीफुल स्माइल रहती थी गायत्री, आपके मम्मी के साथ जब वो सेल्फी होती थी. कैसे आपने वो हिम्मत रखा, क्योंकि काफी लोगों ने अपनी मदर्स खोई है, काफी लोगों ने अपने लव्ड वंस खोए हैं गायत्री. आप में वो होप और स्ट्रेंथ और इंस्पिरेशन डेली कैसे जागृत होता था? प्लीज टेल अस दैट.
Yes, this is a very difficult part. I'm going to hope that I don't get emotional about it. Honestly speaking, every time I saw my mom, and I used to leave the house, literally, like, it wasn't as though I was not afraid that, I'm exposing myself. I can also get COVID, and that fear that I'm going from A point to T point, as I can say point, A point to T point, and then, I am going to be exposed. So the lucky part was that because I was in a car, I was not meeting anybody, I was not stopping anybody. So I used to sanitize myself from the house, and I actually used to pray to the God and the universe that, I right now don't have a choice but to visit my mom. Now, I will say why I didn't have a choice, because I wanted to do. I didn't want to take the choice of not visiting. I also had the choice of just staying home and saying that, okay, COVID is out there. It's an invisible thing. We don't know किसको touch करने से, किससे मिलने से, किससे बात करने से हो जाएगा. The fear was always, but as I am a self-disciplined person. I feel discipline is not something which has to be told to you, please wash your hands, please do this. I'm like, these are basics. Why do we need somebody to tell us to do this? Okay, now coming back to my thing, I was wearing gloves, I was wearing the mask, I was taking sanitizers, I was doing what was the thing. But when I went home, when I saw my mother, she used to always have a smile on her face. She used to start looking relaxed the moment she used to see me. I used to show her videos. I used to show her videos of my work. And she used to always keep telling me, don't stop. You keep doing. I'm going nowhere. One time when I represented India in Singapore, I actually nearly backed out of the show because she was in the ICU in Ruby Hall. And I told her that, Mom, I think I should cancel it. And she was like, no way, you're not going to cancel it. मैं मरने नहीं वाली हूँ. Exactly, this is what she said. मैं मरने नहीं वाली हूँ. You go. You go and you perform well. And you know what she said? I want to see that crown on your head. So I was like panicky. I said, Jesus Christ, here I am like, I'm so nervous. It's not an easy thing going on that ramp, going on that pageant. When you're going international and you are going to face a lot of challenges, those ladies who have been to international pageants will know what I'm talking about. You're from a different culture. You're going to meet people from different culture. You're going to be challenged for so many things. It's a competition. It's a competition. So you have to, maintain your grace, dignity, perform, keep your head, and come back with dignity. Because you are not alone going, because you are representing your country. A lot of people are judgmental because they feel that an individual represents everybody in the good or the bad. Now, there is one thing I am trying to underline of it. When we say individual person representing, if it is good, it's good for the country. If they say, I had people saying, are you from India? I'm like, yes. Is there a problem? They're like, no. Normally, we have found Indians don't behave so well. So I used to be taken aback. And my back came the reply to the ladies out there. You know what? Maybe you need to rethink of your opinion, because there are lakhs and lakhs of women who are like me. If you think my behavior is good, that means we exist. So they were like a lot of things. And my mom was all the time, I was like, taken aback. She had a RT feed, she had a saline going on, she had half her body in paralytic state, and still she was like always encouraged. She would say, okay, pay attention to Anchal's office, pay attention to Gaurav's studies, pay attention to your husband. If he's not coming, doesn't matter, just focus on the present day, keep doing your work. You have to go to the orphan. She would ask me, how are the old ladies in the orphan? What did you give them? And then I would tell her that I took some eateries. She said, next time, before you go, you ask them what is required. Don't just carry what you think has to be given. So many times, because of these small tips and advices from her, I call up the orphanage where I'm going to visit. I ask them the amount of people, the number of people who are there. If there are a man and women combination, then I ask them the age group. I ask them. Then I take what I feel they need, not what I want to give. So this is another part of the advice to the ladies and the gents who are out there looking after these people. Try to find out what is required by them and not what we want to. Because many times you want to give them food, but food is not what is required. They just want you to come and sit with them and spend that time. In Bombay, during this popular Queen of Universe, we went to this orphanage. It was a Christian-run orphanage in Navi Mumbai side. And those ladies were like, so depressed and things like, and we made them laugh, we made them sing, we made them talk, and they had a look of glee on their faces. And that's when I realized that, mom very simply had put, give them what they want. Don't try to give them what you think they need. So this was like, I constantly got only positive talks from my mom. She would tell me, why don't you put a big poster, put it on my cupboard, put it on the wall. I do regret that I never listened to her. I never put that poster in my mom's thing. But I always made a point to, show her all my shows, all my interviews, all the news clips. I got honored with an honorary doctorate as women empowerment by Virtual Institute. And like people were approaching me by work on Facebook with no contact, no direct contact. So I went and I kept on showing it to her. I kept on putting my crown on her head. And I saw that she was always that, she was just happy. She was just happy. Though I used to, let me tell you, Manisha, every pageant I've been to, because it was, always between mom's ICU, mom's hospitalization, and my function, always coming in, clubbing in together. And every time I used to try to back out, every time she would tell me, nothing doing, do go. I want to see you coming back with something. That would make me more happy rather than if you just sat next to me and, watched me suffer or, you started crying. Because there were many times, Manisha, I used to go into the bathroom and I used to start crying. And then I used to come out. There were times I have left my brother's house and it takes me 25 to 35 between that time to reach my house, and I would be crying like a child. There were times the tears, when you're driving and the tears fill up, you cannot see the traffic, and that blink of an eye, you can have an accident. So there were times I used to put my vehicle on the side. I saw there were few people who would probably, the bikers notice. There were 2-3 times, the bikers stopped and knocked on my window and asked me, ma'am, is there something wrong? Can we help you? So I was actually taken aback by the humility of these people, of even noticing. Otherwise, we do realize, we see somebody crying, how many times we really bother going and asking that person? We think it's better to leave that person alone. कोई रो रहा है तो हम सोचते हैं कि छोड़ दो, थोड़ी देर और रोने, natural कि maybe पता नहीं mind कर जाएगा. But I would personally say, if you see somebody upset, you see somebody in tears, please approach that person. Maybe that 1 second that break will break that depressive line. Every time they used to stop. There was a girl and a guy in the car. They stopped. I thought they needed something. And I was like wiping my tears and they said, yes, can I do something? They're like, we are stopping because we are asking, can we do something for you? Because in the previous signal, we saw that you were crying. I said, no, my mom is not well. So I'm just upset. So they were like, can we help out somewhere? I said, no, she's taken care of, but I'm just upset. So they would like, can we give you water? So, I mean, like bikers, car people, they stop, they help. So we need to understand at times, just get out of that shell. Just stop thinking before helping. That's why you must have also noticed that on the post, I always say, just make that little effort. Just make that little effort. You don't know how big a difference it is for somebody else. So there you are.
So beautifully explained, Gayatri. So beautifully explained, Gayatri, that the smallest of the efforts that, it's a kind of a karma as well, Gayatri. I've seen you always helping the orphanages, old age people out there, so many organizations that you are also working with, like, NGOs and everything. Guys, to everyone who are listening to us, let me tell you, this brilliant lady is what she is, the way she has put today verbally as well. Whatever efforts that she has put, whatever efforts she's urging every one of us to actually make that small effort she herself has actually done, is doing. And I'm very sure she's going to continue in future as well. And that's why she tells us to do that. So to everyone, I hope she has made a very, and I'm very sure it's not hope, I'm very sure she has made a huge difference in our mindset today, that the strongest of the daughter out there who is every day visiting her mother can also have tears in eyes, and which is absolutely fine for that moment. But you know what? A person who cries is equally the strongest, like a person who cries a bit less or is very good at hiding his or her emotions. So let's not, cry. What do we say? Characterize people as per their emotions and everything. But yes, let me tell you, the strongest of the daughter that we have today in front of us, and just imagine the kind of strength that lady had, her mother had, that she always, till the last breath, she wanted her daughter to succeed, to work continuously and make a difference into the life of those event organizers who are giving their 100%. So salute to that daughter, salute to that mother. And we are very sure that she's happy, very happy seeing her daughter coming onto a platform today, and thousands of the events that you're going to attend. I'm very sure, Gayatri, you are going to make a huge difference, because you have a very strong purpose. You had a very strong purpose as well. And that purpose was your mother, and that purpose was the love that you have for your glamour and for the giving attitude that you always have. So thank you so much once again, Gayatri. The last question that we would like to know from you, what is that one advice or those couple of advices that you would like to give all the viewers? I'm very sure you have told about the effort that you can take, that they can take, the help that they should give. What are those advice? One advice that you would like to give?
You know what, Manisha, honestly speaking, I feel individually we all need to deal with our own problems and address them as a third party first. Whenever you are in a thick situation, like especially with my situation, I was too much into trying to juggle between family, my mom, my siblings, doctors, nurses, and things like that. It was like a constant thing for me. And yes, I want to also share one little point here, that I normally don't even make chapatis for myself. But when a Panditji said that, make chapatis and give away for your mom, for her sake, and you won't believe it, those days I have made 100 chapatis. I had swelled up arms. I had to tie warm bandages because I was making 100 chapatis a day, distributing it to cows, cats, dogs, and the people, migrants people. I was actually making food and making tiny packets and randomly handing it over. I nearly got over with my own ration in the house. My husband never objected. I nearly finished with my brother's food in his house. he also never objected. I am very grateful to these people that, because of lockdown, food was very difficult to come, but nobody stopped me from doing it because they knew it was bringing me happiness. And I want to tell the viewers over here, whenever you are going out, try and carry bananas, carry biscuits, carry those things and give it to those small children who come begging for that money, because it's very important that little food goes into their stomach, because the moment we give them money, we are encouraging them further. And yes, elderly people, go out of your way to stop that vehicle and buy that burger, bun, bread, something, and give them that 10 rupee with that bun, because they need to buy that tea and have it. So you please try to understand that it's not about how rich you are, how well-to-do you are, how many cars you have, how many, but if you are not human, if you do not have this little bit of humility, I think you are missing the bigger mission of your existence on this earth. Because for them, it's the thing. For you, it's a small thing.
Very
So
true.
just make that effort. And lastly, but not leastly, I would say that thank you so much, Manisha, for giving me this platform to share my experience. And the future is still unknown. This invisible virus seems to be changing its shapes and combinations. So we still need to take the precautions. So please continue taking the precautions. Stop depending on others to protect you. Stop blaming about what the government should do. Please forget about what the government should do. Please start doing what you need to do first.
Very true, very true. This is to all the viewers. Let's take this. It is very much required, guys. It's high time now because everybody is suffering from some or the other thing. Let's take individually our own responsibility so that indirectly we are saving our lives. We are saving our family members' life. We are also saving the life of our surrounding as well. So this is very beautifully advised by Gayatri, such a brilliant daughter, mother, wife, and a sister as well. So we salute you and your mother, Gayatri. Thank you so much for being onto this platform. And we are always there with you. And we will definitely follow the advice that you've given. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this. Thank you.